Today I want to show you the bulk lister on Poshmark and using Z-Drop, obviously. So we're approaching Christmas right now. My VA has pretty much probably already listed all these things because we've listed a ton, not just from Amazon. And on Poshmark, you obviously need to use the Poshmark shipping label, which is a nuisance because that means that you need to repackage things up, use the label, ship them out yourself, or drop them off at the post office, or have the mailman pick them up themselves at your house, right? So you need to order yourself first and then use the Poshmark label. And that deters a lot of people, but that's also a very easy opportunity because a lot of drop shippers in the generic sense where you're drop shipping directly to a customer are going to be scared away from that little bit of work. It doesn't take much and you can profit off of it. And again, make some side hustle, a few $100 money, or a month, right? Or scale it up to be making even a few $1,000s relatively fast, right? If you find the right products, right? We're going to list a bunch of these already. We're going to open a bunch of listings and I'll show you how the bulk lister on Z-Drop works. So let's open, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. Typically what I recommend people to do when they're bulk listing products, not just to Poshmark, but to a number of other places, is you probably don't want to add more than 50 to the bulk lister because if you do that, it can kind of extrapolate the window out and sometimes it can crash, in my experience at least, right? So I typically say 50 is a good sweet spot because that's where you're going to get a ton of bang for your buck. List a bunch of products through the bulk lister, but also not overwhelm the window in your computer. Again, you might not run into that issue. I do on pretty much all of my computers, on my older computers, even on my newer computers. For whatever reason, sometimes it lags out and it just crashes that window, right? If you're adding like 100 or 200, like the window just, it can only hold so many, right? Before it's got like so much data to kind of, control, I guess. So 50 is a good sweet spot, right? Now, what you want to do is all these buttons are going to be Z-Drop. I've touched on in so many other tutorials how to set the settings up, but real quick run through. This is what Z-Drop looks like. It's this Chrome extension right here. You come up, you click settings. You can set the profit margin that you want to mark products up to. So it's going to copy the title, the pictures, the description, also mark the product up a certain percentage. So this is $50 on Amazon. This would mark it up 75% on top of that $50. So we would make 75%, obviously minus the Poshmark fees or wherever you're selling, right? And you can set it to run bulk to wherever you want. Right now, it's running bulk to Facebook Marketplace, so we'll switch it to Poshmark. You can also come down and add different buttons to different marketplaces if you want to list it to a bunch of different places, right? So then we're going to save the button status, save. And so now you'll see the buttons here from what you set it up, right? And one of them is save the bulk list. So we're going to save it to the bulk list. You'll see it kind of run everything down. Then you can just X out of that one. Save it to the bulk list. It'll run everything down. And as soon as you see all the pictures stop flashing, that means it's copied everything. Takes like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Save it to the bulk list. Pictures are done flashing. Bang. There we go. Scroll up. Save it to the bulk list. X out. Bang. And we're just going to do like 8 to 10 here because I don't want to waste your time doing like 50 on camera. I actually have done videos like that in the past where it's like 50 listings and 50, whatever the case is. I also did one for Facebook Marketplace back in the day. But I kind of just want to show you the premise, and then you can obviously take the ball and run with it with however many you want. And this is an easy way that me and my VAs are able to get hundreds of listings up, not just on Poshmark, but a lot of different places every single day. And as you can see there, now that we've added all those to the bulk list, if we open up Z-Drop, we go to the bulk list, they're all sitting there for us, right? So now we're going to select them all and just click run bulk. And now we can go make a coffee, go read a book, go get gas at the gas, like whatever the case is. You just let the bulk lister list for you. As you can see, it's starting to list. And so I want to touch on why this is a good business model really briefly while it's starting to list these products. It's stupidly simple, right? Because you're piggybacking off the traffic that's already on Poshmark in this example, but it's not just Poshmark. It's other sites like Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, TikTok Shop, Etsy, Amazon, and the list goes on, right? We're just using Poshmark here as an example because, in my opinion, Poshmark is one of the best places to do it as a beginner. They all are great, but Poshmark certainly is. And one of the best things about Poshmark, like I said, is it's stupidly easy, right? Because anybody can start up a Poshmark account and anybody can start listing using a supplier like Amazon, for example, or Walmart, for example, or Target, for example, somewhere that's going to deliver to you within that 1 to 3 day window so that you can ship it out on Poshmark. Because on Poshmark, you need to use their label, like I said, and you need to ship out within 3 days, they tell you, right? Now, people always kind of get this misconstrued because you actually get a lot of leeway on Poshmark. In my experience, very rarely do they cancel your orders. The only time if you don't ship out fast enough that they cancel your orders if it takes like 7 days. Typically what will happen is they'll give you 3 days, then they'll say, hey, are you planning on shipping this? And you literally just click, yes, I plan on shipping this in 1 to 2 days on the actual order. And they will even send you an email reminder about that, right? And then you even have 3 or 4 days on top of that after the fact, where again, they are literally just going to remind you, and then you get like a few more days and then they cancel it finally, right? And sometimes they don't even cancel it if it's been like a week or two. So in most cases, you're probably going to get 5 to 7 days before they cancel an order. So it's not the 3 days that they advertise. Now, obviously, you still want to ship your products out as fast as possible. Ideally, if you can get them out in a day or two, that's great. With most of my products, I do get them out in a day or two. It just depends on how fast Amazon or Walmart or Target or wherever other suppliers I'm using is going to deliver to my house. But you do have more time than that, right? Before we start listing here and I show you exactly how fast it is, we covered that you want to list a lot, right? We also cover that you want to share a lot. We also cover that you want to make automatic offers to likers. Both of those are handled, with Posh Sidekick, which is a great software. And the listing obviously is being handled as we're speaking by Z-Drop. But you also need to list the right products, right? So obviously it is Christmas time. We're approaching Christmas time here. So listing Christmas stuff is generically a good idea to do, right? Because there's gonna be a lot more demand for products like that. Also, it's wintertime. So listing sweaters, coats, stuff like that is probably gonna sell better, obviously, than like bikinis or swimsuits or anything that's like, a lot of the country it's cold right now. So listing that stuff, you're not going to get as many sales. There's not going to be as much demand. You could definitely do that, and that's a way that I approach it. You could also reverse engineer what's working for other sellers as well, and I will drop a tutorial on how to snipe other Poshmark sellers that I've done in the past in the description below for you. But one of the easiest ways is to just use a software that's going to tell you what's selling already as well. And one that I definitely recommend, and I've used for the past 5 to 6 years now, is Zeek Analytics. So here's a little bit more information on Zeek Analytics while we're waiting for this to load and finish listing. And I cannot recommend this software enough. It is going to spoon feed you profitable products that are working for other people already and slap you in the face with, hey, list this product. It is working and it will work for you too. Now, if you're drop shipping and you want your sales to actually take off quickly, then you absolutely need to be using something like Zeek Analytics. It's a no-brainer. I've used it to find top performing products for years now. So here is exactly how it works. Now, as you can see, when you log in, there's a number of different options for you. The cool thing about this as well is they have a full, hub of tutorials and training. So even if you're a complete beginner to finding products or using product research software or any of the things that they offer within here, they have a full training for it. You just click the tutorials and training tab over here, right? Also, if you hover down on tools, they're all over here on the left as well. But if you just hover down on tools, you can see all the things that they offer. They have a sales tracker. They have a store finder. Why are those things important? Well, if you're tracking a specific product, you can keep an eye on it, monitor it for a few days to a week, and make sure that it is actually doing, good numbers and see everything that is involved with that specific product. So you can make an informed decision and not just guess based on a window in time, but be 100% sure. The store finder, if you're reverse engineering, another competitor, regardless of where you're selling, whether that's Shopify, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, it doesn't matter where the actual store is, right? The same overall strategy always applies, right? You want to reverse engineer a competitor that is doing well, and then take their best products essentially and, not undercut them, but you take a piece of that specific pie and then you get access to those sales and those products, right? The Product Explorer, also they offer a title builder. There's a ton of options here, and I could go through this literally for hours with each individual tool here. I'm personally going to show you the Trending Products tab because that is what everybody is going to use in the beginning, and it is the most easy to get results in a short time period, especially for beginners, right? Also, you can just change your marketplace by clicking up here in the top left and change it if you want a specific marketplace, right? Right now we're on Shopify, so let me show you how it works and why this is advantageous for a number of different reasons, depending on where you're selling. But for example, let's say hypothetically we're selling on TikTok Shop. Well, we could find the top trending products that are selling right now on Shopify, for example, and then bring those specific products to our TikTok Shop or even our Shopify store or our Facebook Marketplace shop, whatever the case is, right? And as you scroll down, it will show you the top trending products in the last 30 days. So there's a lot of different socks, believe it or not. Compression socks, Halloween socks, being that we are in October right now when I'm recording this video. If you scroll down, you'll see more compression socks. You'll see a lot of different options from wedding stuff like veils and things along those lines. This thing is a new toy as well. That's like a child tortoise interactive toy. So you could see right now the revenue here is $2,800 roughly, and it's going up. The sales are 111. And one of the cool things that I like about this personally is you can also analyze the specific store that's selling it. So we'll tell you all the data about that. So if you click Analyze Store, it will literally bring you to that specific store, all their specific products, their top products, their sales, their revenue, when they actually started, the different social media channels that they're selling on, and what those things are, right? Why is this important? Because, for example, if you find a store that's selling well, obviously the first thing that you can do is go down the list here and go after that specific toy, or that's, in this case, that specific product, obviously, right? But another really great thing is you can go back to their store and see maybe that's not their best selling product, right? Maybe overall that's like their third or fourth best selling product. And you can go one step further and find and reverse engineer their top 3 products that you might not have otherwise seen if you didn't click into their store. So that is a really cool thing. So as you can see here in their best sellers and their recently sold, you could just sort it for revenue, you could sort it for sales, and then it will automatically sort that for their best selling product. Now, as you can see, their top revenue product right here is this barbecue machine. Looks like a kebab thing. Their other best-selling product is a sparkling water maker. And then as you get down a little further, this one doesn't even come into play until like, I don't know what that is, like 10 deep, right? So that's a really cool way that you can also reverse engineer top products from other top sellers that other people using software might not necessarily see, which is ultimately the game changer. And one other thing I want to hit home is the ease of use of this, because you don't need to actually go ahead and search the supplier. It will literally link it to you right away. So if you just click that supplier button on the right, it will take you into a number of different options for this, the price on it, the ROI, a ton of different things. And if you just click as an example on the actual product, it will literally take you to that product. Why is that advantageous? Because you don't have to actually go out and find the supplier, find the specific product. I'm not signed into AliExpress at the specific moment, but as you can see just off the top of the bat, like if we were selling on obviously Facebook Marketplace, it doesn't matter, you could list this. Obviously eBay, it wouldn't matter, you could list this. But for example, like if you're selling somewhere like TikTok Shop, where your shipping parameters have to meet a specific deadline, that's extremely important because you want to see what the estimated shipment is, whether this is a US-based supplier, where the actual warehouse is, and a number of different things, right? So as you can see, we are on the 17th. This is estimated delivered from the 24th to the 1st. So this would work for a number of different websites, but it wouldn't really work for TikTok Shop. And that's really important that we know that. So we can just go back and figure out, all right, well, which one of these would ship on time, if we were shipping on TikTok Shop, right? So this is a game changer. Zeek Analytics is probably one of the best tools that you can use for product research, reverse sniping other top sellers, their stores, other top products, and a number of other things. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This basically shortcuts your product research and gives you a shorter time frame between you and top products, and ultimately gives you all the tools to do smarter product research a lot faster. And believe it or not, the coolest thing about it is they are so confident in what they offer. And trust me, I've been using this for like 5 years, all the way back to when I first started on Facebook Marketplace, dropshipping a while back. And I still use it to this day for a number of different reasons. And you just hop in and kind of see different trends, different products that you might not have otherwise seen if you were looking at other software, or you weren't looking at the specific, trending products on their software for eBay or for Shopify or for whoever. They're so confident, they stand behind their product so much that they are literally offering a $1 trial for a month. So you can try the full software out, not like a shortened snippet version of it, the complete software for just $1 for a full month, right? That's a game changer. So if you want to try it out, you can test drive the power of Zeek Analytics in full to find hot products a lot faster. Just click that first link in the description below, go over and you can try it out for $1. Game changer. All right, so as you can see, it's still listing. We listed like 8 of them. It's been, I don't even know, like 4 or 5 minutes. It's probably listing them like every 30 seconds or so. And as you can see, as soon as the pictures pop up with this one, it will be done. And then I believe we can start listing. So there they go. It's got one more going. And I'm just going to stop it actually, because we're not actually going to go through and list all of these. So you can always just come up here and stop by clicking stop on the actual bulk lister. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll X out of all the Amazon tabs. so that all I have is the actual Poshmark tabs open, right? And this is how fast you can list on Poshmark, right? So apply. I'll go through the first one slowly and I'll explain it to you, and then we'll just run through the rest of them very quickly so I can show you how fast you can actually do it. Because one of the biggest complaints that I get from people is like, it takes too long to list. And this is not just for Poshmark. This is for like just in general. It takes too long to list. But it doesn't. You can literally pop the headphones in, listen to your favorite podcast, listen to your favorite music, and bang a bunch of them out super quickly if you're just willing to get down and do the work. And it's not even hard. Watch how fast it is, right? So the pictures are already copied over. The title's already copied over. The first thing I tell people to do is don't add the brand name in the title, because then it's super easy to search. And also, you just don't want to do that because there could be IP issues. There could be a number of other things. So just delete the brand name out of the title. It's totally fine, right? The last thing I recommend people to do is check the last bullet point specifically for Amazon. You want to list from Amazon when you're starting because it's one of the best places to build your store, but don't stop there, right? Again, Walmart Plus delivers fast. Target delivers fast, usually in 2 days. There are other suppliers out there. I'm not going to tell you what other suppliers I use specifically. Start your store with those ones, right? They're the best because you want to build up like the nest egg of your store with them to protect your metrics. But then branch out to other places. You can find other places. Look on Z-Drop's website. They literally tell you all the different places that they copy products from, right? There are hundreds, and they're just as fast. So these are all the marketplaces. Obviously, you see Poshmark on there as well. But these are all the websites that they copy from right here. And if you click them, it will take you there. Use some of these. There's some great ones on here, but also branch out from there. You can find other good ones. And if you're differentiating your suppliers, again, start with Amazon, start with Walmart, start with Target. They're the best. But if you're differentiating your suppliers, that's an easy way to get more sales that nobody else is seeing on these websites, because now you're listing products from other websites that you don't actually have to have in your possession. So it's just about your sweat equity, or you're paying a virtual assistant to do it. And now you're really scaling. That's how you actually scale to a ton of money doing this, not just on Poshmark, but obviously we're going through Poshmark in this example, right? So the next thing you're going to want to do after you take the brand name out of the title, like I said, check the last bullet point specifically for Amazon, because that's where you're going to see a lot of warranty, brand information, etc., etc. I've nailed this home in so many other Poshmark tutorials that you will see. It doesn't look like there's anything about brand information on this or like money back guarantees or warranties, so you don't have to worry about that on the last bullet point. Always check it. Typically, 99% of the time, going to be in that last bullet point. The next thing you're going to want to do is categorize it. It does categorize it, but sometimes it categorizes it wrong when you use the bulk lister. So I'm just going to go back and auto categorize it. In the beginning, this is going to be the slowest part of you listing on Poshmark, finding the category, okay? But as you do like 20, 30 listings, you will get so fast at it. It's so easy to remember where they all are. You will know inherently, oh, it's this category, this subcategory, so quickly the more you do it. So don't worry about it if you're slow in the beginning. I promise you will get faster. So I'm going to go back to the home category. I'm going to go to the holiday subcategory, and I'm going to categorize this as holiday decor, because that's exactly what it is. All right. Always listed a multi-item so you can get multiple orders if people keep buying. But 10 is a good sweet spot. I've covered this in other videos. 10 is the best sweet spot in my opinion, because it allows you to just input a 0 very quickly as you're going through and listing, or your virtual assistant's going through and listing, because 1 is already in there from having a single item. So just add a 0, make the quantity 10. That will give you the ability to get multiple orders before you have to worry about adding more to, obviously into your inventory so you can get more orders. But on top of that, it's not too much, because if you made this 50 or 100, then as you're adding more and more listings and hundreds of thousands of listings, it starts to add up in your inventory. And there's a stat on Poshmark that shows how much product inventory you have, like value, right? How much your store value and your closet value is. And if that starts showing billions of dollars, that's literally like so obvious that like you're drop shipping, which again isn't that big of an issue. But if you ever run into an issue where Poshmark is asking for specific things, or they're looking into you because maybe you have a bunch of annoyed buyers, that is typically where people run into issues. So just stick with like 5 or 10. That's a good sweet spot where you're not really going to run into that issue unless you have like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of listings, and then it can kind of reach the billions. But I don't worry about that in the beginning. This is a beginner tutorial. I cover all that in my e-commerce accelerator course. That's always linked in the description below if you want to check it out. That will teach you Poshmark, like everything about it. It will teach you Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, and a number of other places as well. Condition is new with tags. skip the tags, the color, the style, all that stuff. The price should already be marked up. And then we're going to scroll down, always delete other info out of here, and then click next and list. And there you go. We listed. So now we're going to come down and click apply. There's no brand name here, so we don't have to worry about that. As you can see here, the last bullet point has 100% quality guarantee. Delete that out. We don't need that. Categorize it. This is again is home, holiday decor, add a 0, make the quantity 10. Condition is new with tags. Skip all those. You don't need them. The price is already marked up because it already marked it up to whatever we set it for in the back end of our Z-drop setting, so 75%. Delete out other info, bang, next. How fast was that? I slowed that down to explain it to you, and it still took me 20 seconds to list that. So that is how fast you can list to these places. Again, apply, no brand name. Look at the last bullet point. Weed, fresh design, looking to make your home. I don't see anything here about warranty or brand information, so categorize it. Holiday decor, multi-item, add a 0, condition is new, skip down, listing price is already marked up, other info, delete, bang, list it. And as you can see, because I'm not going to dumb it down and continue to go, you get the picture here. We just did 3 relatively slow as I was explaining it to you in like a minute and a half maybe. So you can see just how fast it is easy to list these in general. And then on top of that, you can also use the bulk lister like I'm showing you in this tutorial to list a ton super quickly, all right? So there's really no excuses, especially with the software like Z-Drop where you can list a bunch very, very quickly. You can also outsource it again if you want that tutorial. I will try to drop that tutorial in the description below. If it's not in there and you have a question on, outsourcing or finding virtual assistants super cheap, very easily, comment below and I'll let you know how, like my process, or I'll send you the video directly. And on top of that, always remember e-commerce accelerator is linked in the description below. It is the best place that's going to build a system for you so you can start listing on places like Poshmark, start listing on places like Facebook Marketplace, start listing on places like Mercari and a number of others, but not just listing and getting sales, scaling it as quickly as possible. It is going to get you to $1,000 a month as fast as possible. I've literally built a system that's going to spoon feed it to you, all right? And that sounds gimmicky, but I've been doing this for years now, and we've tested so many different things that I pretty much have it down to a formula, all right? So I really hope this helps, guys. As always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.